Hey, what's up everybody? I'm going to keep going with this piece here. Really gonna try to sit with it, keep my patience. I guess it's been a long time since, I've been taking care of my babies, that I've had a really long sit down session with the piece, and it feels like I've been with this piece for hours and hours, but it's only been 4 hours and 32 minutes that I've gotten this far, which is actually, it feels like decent progress. And even then, I feel like there's so much more efficiency improvements that I can make in my art process that can make this much smoother. But I need to just really sit with it, patiently improve. So what you might be able to see here is the colors do look different from before. I did a color balance. If I kind of do a whole bunch of undos here, you can kind of see where I came from with my color balance. Right here is where the change happened. I did a color balance, and you can see here in my original colors, everything looks kind of gray. And it's a little bit upsetting to see that, when I try to choose the colors myself, excuse me, I'm really trying to choose nice colors here, but I did a quick color balance using the adjustments tool here up at the top left on Procreate. And I changed some of the midtones to more of a yellow, and I changed some of the shadows to more of a blue. And it had this nice effect, especially on Joseph's robes. Those are very nice colors that I want to continue using. So I'm going to go back to all my redos here. I did a little bit of brushing on Jesus' hair. Off the recording, I started recording, but I wasn't satisfied with it, so I started a new one here. But my goal going to this recording is just having that patience, just really sitting with it and trusting the process and trusting the hours. This is a piece that I want to sell. So I want to make sure that it looks the best that I can make it. There have been so many different adjustments in the evolution of this piece, and it's all been documented on YouTube. So I'm just going to keep going with it. I'm just going to work on anything that's really glaring. And I think I want to work on the child Jesus. Like Mary and Joseph, they look good. And we gotta go work on their feet too. I've been sort of avoiding the feet. But let's go in here and really focus on my Lord, my Savior, the child Jesus here. So, yeah. So I have my brush, the Opus Color brush, right there. And first thing I see is like hands and feet. So I'm just gonna go in here first and just do this stuff that doesn't really require much thinking. Just fill in the contour, fill in the outline with the base color first. Get his feet in there. Erase out the outside. I don't really think the color is right here. I think it's too pale. So I'm gonna just be playing with colors here to get it to look right. Yeah, we'll just start with that base for now. In fact, I might even just change it back to the base color, because I don't think whatever coloring I did a very good job. So I'm just gonna bring it back to this dark base and then find the right color for his skin. And looking at Joseph and Mary, they those look like the right skin colors. So yeah, I'm gonna find this. Now he is the source of light, so I kind of want to move into the yellow here. Jesus, we can treat Jesus as a light source in this image too, especially as we keep painting. But I don't want it to be too light. I want to keep that, Nazareth, Bethlehem look. I did look up again some people from those towns, and they are like Caucasian, so a lot of range of skin color, Jewish in heritage. I remember that forensic Jesus picture where he had really dark skin, because I could totally go with that too. But I don't know, the iconography tends toward lighter skin, which I know a lot of people have problems with. But I think when you take a look at like the region, a lot of people there do have like walnut skin. Don't know if that's the right word. Let's get a bigger brush here. I should really use bigger brush strokes when I'm starting out like this. Let's go over his eyes. That's okay. Because that color looks okay. Yeah, that color looks okay. Let's get here under his neck. And let's get some dark hair in here. Let's throw in some shadows first. I'm gonna go for a darker hair color that shines brown. I really love my wife's hair. Her hair color is it's black, but it shines brown, almost reddish brown in the sunlight, which is very beautiful. So maybe I'll put some of that in Jesus here. I noticed my two sons have very different hair. My first son has like long hair, kind of thick hair. My second son has like thin, like lighter hair, lighter skin. So it's interesting how they come out different with their genes. So I'm gonna take this color that I originally had, keep some of the highlights in there. Again, I'm not really trying to paint this. I'm trying to. I do want this to be illustrative. Like I want it to keep that anime feel to it. Let's get a white. And let's find an eye color here. Brown. We can get more shadow in there. I think we can up the contrast. Make it a nice and warm shadow. Yeah, I think this shadow color's pretty good here. We can make it warmer. Yeah, there. Again, I have to remember, I'm not trying to paint. So I don't want too many colors in this. This is the child Jesus. I'm drawing God, making a graven image. Am I making a graven image? I don't know. No, I'm just making my depiction of the child Jesus who really lived. So you know what? I'm thinking a little bit about my faith formation. I went to mass today and I spoke with a childhood friend, and I asked if he told me his family members are not really going to mass anymore. His sister, who I grew up with, not really going to mass anymore. And it makes me wonder, like, we grew up in a more charismatic style Catholic community, and the Catholic Church is familiar with the dangers, the risks of that kind of upbringing, where if you focus on the joy and happiness of your experience in the church, where people do love each other, you really create that sort of microcosm. You create that mini city of God that people can retreat to, and for them, if that's your church experience, you have many consolations, and being at church is a good experience. And of course, we do want God to be who he is, which is the God of peace and joy and love, and that if you follow his commandments, you will achieve those things. And the community that will be built from living that way is going to be wonderful. That's what we hope heaven to be. So you really do get a slice of heaven on earth when you attend a church that's like that. However, we are still on earth, and I think if one's faith is kind of based on their emotional experience in the church, you start to think that if you're suffering, then okay, my faith is suffering. But that is the real test of faith, I think. The mystics talk about this a lot. Saint Teresa of Avila, John of the Cross, where you never want to rely on your emotions for your faith. The faith is the truth. And the true symbol of Christianity is the cross. So this little kid here is going to grow up, and he is going to be executed, right? Like brutally executed in the crucifixion. And we have to remember that with solemnity when we look at depictions of the child Jesus. When we think about Christmas, right? Christmas, Jesus was born in a manger. He was born to be eaten. And he willingly offered his life to be eaten. That if you eat my body and drink my blood, this teaching, as the many disciples said, this teaching is hard to accept, and many walked away. John 6:66, right? John 6:66 is when many disciples walked away because they couldn't accept the teaching that Jesus said, I am sacrificing myself and I am to be eaten. I am the Lamb of God, the bread of life, and it's in consuming my flesh that you will be saved. And it's even for Christians nowadays, they kind of forget, like, you talk about theology, like why does God exist and stuff like that, but once you get past that, you remember the Gospels, and it's like, oh, okay, so this really happened, this is what Jesus really taught, this is what happened. And it's hard to accept, it's hard to understand. And this little kid right here is going to give his life. So even just looking at him as I'm drawing him, he drawn in these little white robes, he already looks like, in a way, a lamb for the slaughter, right? It's very sad, and that's why in the Catholic Church we do focus on the solemnity of the cross. I've heard criticism from evangelical Christians, Protestant Christians, that it's why do Catholics focus on the cross so much? Because that is what Christianity is. Like, of course, we know that Jesus won the victory through the resurrection, but he was trying to show us this is how you live life. You're not necessarily living life for the reward of resurrection. If that's your goal, then okay, that's good. But how did resurrection come about? How did it come about? It's because we are sinners, because we deserved to die, and we needed that grace from Jesus, the mercy of Jesus, in order to be redeemed. And so, yeah, this little kid right here, having all the knowledge of God and yet experiencing the human condition, having all the wisdom of God and the Holy Spirit available to him to perform those miracles, and yet decided to subject himself to human limitation, to finiteness, and what Jordan Peterson says very clearly, what is human finiteness but suffering, right? That is the experience of finiteness. Yeah, let's get some highlights in here. Let's grab that hair color and get a nice light highlight here. Let's move it more into the white. Let's not be shy about making it bright here. So we are using the white of the canvas again as a light source. So we have some white highlights here. Let's get some shadow under his nose, shadow under his lip. Let's get some more shadow under his nose. Let's make it a little darker. I don't want him to look like a little chipmunk cartoon, but we do need that shadow. Maybe a little bit more of a cast shadow down. Work our way down. Do we want to give Jesus some blush just like we did with Mary? Maybe we'll add just a tiny bit. Rosy cheeks, youthful. Get a larger brush here, just barely brush it in. That's what I like about my current brush, my new brush. It's like you can use it for hard edges, right? Or I can use it very lightly as an airbrush. I want to be able to do that with one brush. I don't even remember my source brush. I think it was wet acrylic. Yeah, it used to be wet acrylic, and then I changed the settings so that it matches what I want it to do. So that is already a big improvement on what I had earlier. I'm just going to keep painting here. Do the shading on his little tunic. So yeah, we're jumping around from piece to piece, from part to part in this piece. I do think he needs more contrast in the shadows of his robe. Also in here in the ink, the shadow there in his elbow is a little bit too extreme. That folding doesn't look quite natural, so we're gonna go in there and fix that, I think. So let's actually do that now before I move on. I'm going to Opus Inker 2 and Opus Inker 1 as my eraser. Yeah, contrast there is a little bit too extreme, so just reducing it. Change the angle of that fold a little bit more too. Okay, that's okay. Okay, Good. Yeah, this is looking good. I know I wanted to keep the line art light, but now it's bothersome in that it's not giving me strong borders. I might increase... Hold on. Okay. I might increase, yeah, the opacity of the ink layer. Or the darkness of it. Let's do a hue and saturation real quick. Darken it a little bit. So we don't want to go all the way black, right? But we have here, if we stay on 50, we have it at this gray. I'm going to increase it, strengthen it a little bit. So dark, just a little bit here. And it is a multiply layer, so if I bring back the color now, yeah, you can see it's a little bit stronger now. But what I want to do, I think that's okay. And I'm just going to play with the opacity of it. Lower it a little bit. Actually, no. Hold on. Let's backtrack here. I think that was just a bit too much. I think I need to keep the color layer when I'm doing this. So hue and saturation, we're going to turn the brightness down a little bit. That's it. This is full black. So I don't like that. It's how like my strokes and then everything just kind of looks like too high contrast. And if I remove it completely, that's kind of what I like. But here at 50, just going to darken it so slightly. Let's go to 50 again. Yeah, it's going to be a very slight adjustment to my line art here. I'm started losing brightness because it's starting to get dark outside. Okay. All right, so okay, the lily flowers now. We're gonna move into the green here. I want this to be an almost white green. Again, folks, just kind of jumping around in this piece. I don't even know if that color for the lilies is right, the base color, because I did that color balance pass where I sort of changed everything to change the midtones to this more yellow. So I think it ended up losing a proper color for the lilies, but it's okay. Just work with it. And this, I like this, you know, 2-color shell shading for the lilies. I don't want to get too complicated in painting that. I don't want to get too complicated in painting any of this, really. Oh, you know what? It's because I was using my inking brush. Let's go back to the color brush. Let's see what kind of different effect it has. Yeah, it's still okay. I can still, you know, use pen pressure to get that 2-value effect. Here we'll have some, it'll kind of fade up like that. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna go around and clean, because there's a whole bunch of little pieces here that are like in the wrong spot. I think I will use Opus Inker 1 as eraser, the most opaque eraser that I have. Okay, we're gonna go in, yeah, clean the edges. I think this will be worthwhile. Using double tap to quickly toggle from pencil to eraser. I think after this, if I get the edges clean, I might turn on the alpha lock. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and like do the whole silhouette and turn on the alpha lock. I can always adjust this later, the contours. So let's just get in there and do it. I do have to draw sandals for Joseph. I'm just gonna paint one in for now. Fixing the borders here. fixing the borders. You know, my approach to this is very similar to the way I clean around the house, which I honestly don't think is very good. I think it's best to like have priorities, right? And do actions in order of those priorities. But sometimes if I just want to get moving, I just look at, if there's something in the wrong place, I will just grab it and then put it in the right place. And then the next thing I see that's nearest in proximity, grab that and put that in the right place. It's not really much thinking, rather I just want to get myself some momentum. So I'm kind of treating this painting that way for now too, because it's going to take time regardless, but as long as I just keep moving, it's going to get done. And I want to have that mentality going into this. Obviously, there are priorities, and I can improve the process moving forward, really plan out the steps. But right now, I just know that if I keep moving, it'll get done. And I think for me, it's a healthy mentality to have, because if I freeze and think too much, it's just not going to get done. And sometimes when I get tempted, like, hey, let's just do a different piece. I'm getting tired of this one. It's getting frustrating, or I'm losing patience, but I need to stick with it and keep moving. For me, it's very important to change this mentality or maintain it. Okay, so again, just cleaning up the edges here. There isn't a clear idea of where the border is on that part of Mary's arm, so I'll take a mental note of that. So yeah, I'm gonna eventually have to go in and sort of fix the line art in some of these spots still. But I'm just getting this clean enough so we can get an alpha lock going, which will make it easier for me to shade stuff. Let's put more of her sleeve right in here. Nice big brush. Okay, yeah, let's start the alpha lock now. We can just go in 2 fingers, swipe to the right, alpha lock. So now I can paint wherever without going into the white border. So nice cast shadow right there. This sash could be a better color. Let's make it more blue. A little bit more blue. Yeah, there. That's better. It's, I guess, inconvenient that I have all the color for 3 characters on the same layer. So if I'm going to be painting Mary and Jesus, I think I should actually paint Mary's clothes first, before going into Jesus' arm, so that it doesn't look like I'm like avoiding the borders. So I'm just going to do it like that for now. The whites of her eyes don't look white enough. Highlight there. Let's actually remove the line art again. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, it looks good. One thing I noticed is that I don't really put any color on the lips. I just let the lines be the lips. But maybe I should change that. Maybe I should add something. Just maybe slight color change. Maybe something red? I don't know. I don't want it to be too much. Shadow under the lip here. Yeah, very slightly. Why not? very slightly. Get a little bit of red here too on his lip. Yeah, something like that. I don't, bottom lip doesn't look right when I do bottom lip. I think upper lip is fine for Jesus right there. For Mary, both lips, just very subtly. I might even just brush the skin color back into it just so that's more subtle. It has to be barely there. There. Do we add a highlight to the lip? Yeah, we can. I want it to be more subtle than that. I don't want it to look like she has shiny lip gloss or something like that. No, just keep it more subtle. Yeah, just very subtle like that. I think that's fine. We're getting too much into detail though. You won't be able to see that. I need to make sure I stay zoomed out too, so that you know, I only work on details that are noticeable from being zoomed out. Yeah, you know what? I don't like the lip color on Jesus' lip. Just keep it like that. I feel like I want to do an overlay to change some colors. I usually do this last, but maybe we can do it during the painting process. Let's try it out. I'm gonna make an overlay with a clipping mask here. Clipping mask. Change this to overlay. And usually when I overlay, I use an airbrush. So I'm gonna go to airbrushing, the big soft brush here. And because I want to make Jesus' skin color a little bit more on the red side, warm side. And I want to find the right color to do that. There we go. That worked. Yeah. See that? See that? How I'm undoing and redoing right now? And it's kind of changing the stuff around his head too, but I think that's okay. You know, we're going to do halos. So here, just a small airbrush, brushing some warmth into his skin color. I'm going to erase a little bit around here. Hold on, need that to be bigger. A little bit around his face, because I think it became a little bit too strong. What about Joseph's face? Do we change the color there? No, I think it's okay. Mary's face, do we change the color there? I think it's okay. Maybe the shadows in Joseph's face. I'm not sure. Don't want his arm to really glow like that. So erase the edges off there. Yeah. Okay, that's better. I'm just going to merge it. I just wanted to make that quick change. Okay, so again, we're just going to improvise, just kind of color as we go. So right here, for example, Mary's sash. I think I should use a stronger shadow color now in Mary's clothes. Let's strengthen the contrast now. Let's go into the blue here, get a warm shadow, and get in there and paint. Overlap shadow here between the dress and the... I guess this is the mantle. I'm not sure if this is... When we talk about Mary's mantle, I'm not sure if it is this part. Okay, let's come back in here. Okay. You see how I'm just kind of moving around the canvas, not thinking too much and making decisions as I go, letting the piece paint itself. Something about Joseph's eyebrows are off. Get him bushy? Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, so I've laid everything in. It looks pretty good. We're gonna get a little bit more color contrast once we get the sandals in, you know, some dark sandals, get some contrast down there in the shadows. But overall, I'm trying to evaluate this piece. I don't know if I need a fresh look at it. Maybe, you know what might help me get a fresh look? Let's mirror it. Let's mirror. Okay. Yeah, this helps me get a fresh look. I think Mary, her headdress flowing down all the way down to the bottom there, I should change the angle of the way it's folding up top, if it's going to go down that far. And I think it should go down that far, but not that far back behind her. What else? Just the overall... Let me turn the brightness up because I'm losing the sense of it. I'm going to move all of them. I do have Jesus like right in the center of the canvas here. Like going back to my very original sketch, which is this. This is the original. And I had Jesus' head right in the middle. I had Joseph's gesture very different. It's interesting how much has changed. And I do like the original drawing. The angle of Joseph's face had changed. It became a lot more Asian looking. That tends to happen when I draw. Yeah, his original face here was a lot more angular, and the elegance of his pose. I really liked it, but we went with something a lot more anime, to be honest. I guess the original idea was something kind of Renaissance-y and flowy, but it became a lot more anime. And I think, you know, combining those two is good, you know, kind of intentional. But okay, so that curve of Mary's legs and Joseph's legs kind of angling toward him, I think it really made a nice part of the sketch, and I think it was lost as I went into the into this here. So I think the only way to bring it back, that energy, is to work it into the way Mary's dress falls. Yeah, it's really interesting because my original sketch and my pencil drawing, like, I'm just comparing and contrasting. You see me thinking out loud here. My pencil drawing is so satisfying, but even then, some of the original sketch is lost. So original sketch here, and then pencil drawing. This is where you can see it becoming a little bit more anime in its look, because that's kind of how I draw, just based on Japanese art for many years. But the spirit was kind of kept in the strokes of it. And then as I inked it, it really became anime. It really became anime. So, but what I'm seeing right now, as I move from the sketch to the pencil to the original paint, to the ink, what got lost, and those, I don't want those things to get lost. Because I'm going to have to find a way to bring them back. A lot of the angles of the strokes here are very satisfying because I was mostly focused on composition when I was doing this original sketch. And then pencil, the composition, I think they kind of moved. I think Mary and Joseph were a lot more balanced. I think Mary became a bit small. Trying to really see the difference here. Yeah, the angles were lost in the sleeves, Mary's sleeves. Yeah, I think I need to keep that. I think Joseph looks fine. But I think Mary's presence in the image was lost because I lost the flow of her clothing. There was a lot going on there in the original. So let's try to bring that back. Let's get in here. Take our inker brush. And let's erase this. And let's flow. Let's use our flow. And then here, I like that angle, but I think we can come further down like that. Like that, and then bring it down here. Work those angles. Something like that. Maybe something like that. It's a bit too much up and down because, again, going back to the original, there was a lot going on the sleeves. Like there was a lot hanging, a lot of fabric hanging. Was I planning to make some kind of... Hold on. Yeah, I think I was planning to have like a lot more fabric hanging down from her arms. And that was lost. Yeah. Yeah, there was meant to be a lot more fabric hanging down from the arms. So you know what? We're going to bring it back. There was a lot of like supposed to be this kind of flow coming out that way. We are destroying and changing a lot of the drawing, but I think for the better. To stick with the plan of, you know, the original. You know, I'm trying to keep angles and energy of my original sketch, because that tends to get lost when I go into the line art and everything gets really structured. I don't want to lose the shapes that I created. Even here, there's like so much up and down. Like I'm just thinking too much about gravity. I want to think about flow and energy. We're doing iconography here. You know, again, my other piece, I want to look back at it. This one's supposed to be more down to earth, simple, right? Homey. And I'm not thinking too much about expressing those angles here. Like Joseph's body is more, you know, normal. You know, that one's down to earth. But this one here, we are in the iconography mode. I think I need to capture the angle of her head because her cranium is going to curve up that way. Yeah, it needs to be higher up that way. Cranium, kind of guide it. It's going to go up that way. And the lines are thick for now because I want to capture that energy. And again, over here, I think we need to bring the fabric more, you know, more folding. Why not? More in the sleeve. Yeah. Okay. So that helped. But again, we're going to take a look at the energy of everything. Yeah, we kind of expanded her back a little bit more, which is nice. Kind of might have gone overboard in the head, but I think it's okay. Going back to this. Yeah, I don't think we need that much in the head. But I think it's okay. We'll reel it in very slightly. It's interesting how much changed. How much changed now that I bring the paint back. Yeah. Yeah, we wanted those angles. I wanted to change them. Okay. Okay. What about this part? The way it comes down. Again, I think we have to look at the original sketch. It kind of curves in. Yeah, that's why I had that extra line there, and I couldn't decipher it, but it's from the original sketch. I just wanted everything to kind of curve inward, so let's figure out what that is. Let's figure out what it is. This breakaway from structure toward energy and lines is very unusual for me when I'm already in the line art layer. But I think it's, again, good experimentation in this piece. We are really doing a lot of things we haven't done before. Okay. Yeah, I think this is okay. The way the dress falls, let's get it. Yeah, curving inward is nicer. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Now, again, a lot of iconography tends to find the knee when you're drawing someone's, like a gown or a dress. You notice that in a lot of Christian statues. They always try to find the knee, so why not? Let's find it. And then just sort of like, maybe hatching right here to show that it's there. It's probably higher than that, actually. Yeah, it's probably higher than that. It's like probably about right here. And then, yeah, we want to express that in the curves of the way the dress falls. Get some folds going that way. Okay. Okay. This is looking good. I did a lot on Mary just now. So much undoing. It's annoying. I need to be better. I think I just do strokes without thinking too much. Okay, now we have a lot of thick lines and we can just kind of clean it up. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. Just gotta patiently sit with this piece. It almost looks like Sumi. Did a little bit of Sumi ink when I was an art teacher. Okay. Something, I don't like this angle of Jesus little tunic. Something, I think something needs to, maybe a little bit more quadricep. Yeah, just curve that leg a little bit more right here. Let it fall this way. Okay. Okay. How's this looking? I kind of want Jesus' stance to be a little bit wider. I might move this leg entirely. Expand it a little bit, actually. Freeform. No, uniform. Yeah, a little bit wider stance there makes more sense. Yeah, that's a big change, but I think that makes more sense. Actually, that made it a bit too wide, so let's try again. I change the angle of his foot back though. Okay. Okay, yeah, that looks better. But we'll find out if we mirror. Yeah, it does look better. It looks better. It looks more natural. Had that weird tilt going on. Again, trying to get that curve of the quad, but when I mirrored again, it looked too wide. I think it's an anatomy issue. I think because the pelvis here and the quad starts here, so that it's gonna like change angle at this point. And how would that show in the folding? Is that right? Not really. Yeah, we'll kind of go with that for now. Hold on, we'll get rid of that little fold. Okay, the line art looks good. This looks good. I think we need a little bit more line art to accentuate the folds, just like what we have in Joseph's tunic. That we use some line weight to create overlap shadows in the folds. So we'll do it with Mary as well. Make sure we have the right color here. So where? Right in here, probably. Right in here. Get some overlap. Here in the middle of the sleeve. Definitely here there's something missing. Just instead of hatching, we'll just do line weight like that. Got the combo of both. And then here we'll do some more hatching. Yeah, this line art looks good. This looks good. I think the expanding Mary's contour outward towards the back there did a lot for the balance. Okay, now bringing back the paint. Considering the changes, things looks like they're still in place, but now we'll get in there and paint the extra space that Mary occupies. Oh yeah, we had an alpha lock on, so we'll turn off the alpha lock, get that extra space, claim that real estate. So we are seeing this piece evolve. Again, I've been moving the whole time, which is a good sign. I don't really know how much has changed, and I need to be saving drafts of these. So I'm definitely going to save a draft after this one to kind of see how far we came during this session. Because I feel like I did a lot. I don't know how much effect it had overall, but there was work done, is the way to put it. Okay, I need to fix her hand for sure. Here we will use a whiter brush just to find that shadow here. Just have the fabric stretch a little bit. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm not really good with fabric folds, shading them raw like that without line art to guide me. So here we definitely want that white. Yeah, there we go, on top of the leg. Actually, we'll bring the shadow down. And we'll move Jesus' leg over. I think I'm going to take a break soon. Maybe right after this, because, again, there was a lot of changes. I want to save a draft. I want to see how far it's come. And I need a fresh look to see if there's anything glaring that could be changed or fixed. So, got to take breaks. All right, so we are here. Oh, let's actually, again, claiming that real estate right there. Let's get that in there. Let's get that in there. All right, so that looks more full. Obviously her sleeve is not following any sense of gravity here. But I like, the amount of space that it's taking. So yeah, we're just going to keep going and keep figuring this out. Okay, so we're just going to keep painting. All right, folks, I'll talk to you later. God bless. Bye-bye.